Hey folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Something is Killing the Children, Issue 1 by Boom Studios. Now there is killing, violence, gore, blood, injuries, knives, more violence, obviously dead children, police investigations, and more blood. Oh, and guts too. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, so in front of you now see everyone who worked on this. I don't recognize anyone here. None of the names sound familiar. And the first part of this story is called The Angel of Archer's Peak, Part 1. Would that be like the, undertitle? I just realized I don't know what it means when it has an extra title. I should check that out. Alright, so there we go. It's everyone responsible. I think the cover's also written there, but I don't know what cover this is. I think this is the 8th printing, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong, though. Okay. Now, this is a bit of an older one. Well, I know it's not that old, but it did come out in 2019 from what I've seen today. And I have been hearing about Something is Killing the Children for a few years now. Seen a lot of people show it and everything. No one ever said, though, what the story is about, though I suppose maybe, you think the title would tell you. Or would make it apparent. But yeah, I've just seen covers. I know Captain Sorrow's a big fan. I mainly have seen this lady in many covers. I take it she's probably one of the main characters. Or perhaps the main character. Still not clear. Alright, so let's get into this one. So we start with a sleepover at a boy's house. The boy's called James. The kids played video games, and now they're playing Truth or Dare. And James chooses Truth and tells them about about something real that happened to him. Apparently he's been telling them about dreams, and one of the boys, his name is Noah, doesn't believe him. And doesn't want to hear about his dreams, but anyway, he tells them a story of how he was alone at home one evening, a week ago. And he was watching TV, and then he saw he heard something outside. He turned off all the lights and went to see, and he saw this monster that was as tall as a tree and had long teeth, I think, he said. Or was it nails? No, teeth. And that he went and hid under the blanket, and after an hour he looked again, and the monster wasn't there. None of the kids believe him. He gets more pissed off at Noah and asks him truth or dare. And then we move on to him being in an interrogation room. You know, the ones where you have that mirror, where on the other side more police and detectives are sitting and they can see you. And he's talking to possibly a detective. You know, the crying and saying, I made up that story, it wasn't real. I just made it all up. He's upset and crying, and the 3 boys were brutally murdered, essentially, and them and another kid that we don't see here. And the detective tells him, "We know, James. We just want to hear what happened." Then we move on to meeting the lady, right? Oh, wait. I think, right after that, there's a big Something's Killing the Children. Yeah, and then we go off and meet this lady. I don't know what her name is. It's not mentioned here yet. Yeah, no, it's not mentioned here. Maybe in the next issue they mention it. We see a little girl sitting in a pull cart. You know, like what kids have to pull their toys in. She doesn't have an arm and her eye is bandaged. And she's sitting next to a backpack. and just looks at the forest. And then this lady comes out, covered in blood and holding two machetes. I think those were machetes. And she goes to the little girl and says, oh, it's done. And then she, then the phone rings. No, the phone doesn't ring. She goes into her backpack, drinks a whole bottle of water, and then pulls out her phone and calls St. George, I think it was, telling them that the job's done, and they ask her when she's going to be back, or not back, when she's going to go to this other place. It's in Wisconsin. Just the name we just saw. Oh, wait, what was it again? Archer's Peak in Wisconsin. So she says that she doesn't know when she'll be there based on bus schedules, and she asks the little girl if she can use her shower at her house. The little girl starts to say, well, Mom won't be back till... So she tells, I'll be there in 16 hours. Then she turns off her phone and puts it back in her... She has one of those old flip phones. I miss those. And she puts it in her bag. And then the little girl asks, is there more of them? So assuming that she had her own case of a monster. I take it this little girl probably encountered such a monster. And she wasn't just saved because her clothes are clean. Everything's clean, so she has been injured recently, but not too recently. So then this lady stretches and says, come on, let's go get that shower. Then we move on to the school. James is walking up the stairs. We see on the grass where the stairs are some, pictures of all the current 4 dead boys. And then, two boys approach James. One of them's a complete prick. And he starts to, tell James, you killed them, it's your fault. And taunting him, and then calling him a creep, saying, I saw you stared at us in the shower. And saying that he was in love with one of the boys, and he was never going to kiss him. And the boy was in love, but was never going to kiss him. And then he goes up to him, gets in his face, and grabs him by the collar. But then his friend, who's the smart one, grabs him away and is like, come on, man, let's go. Anyway, he keeps yapping. And then James says behind him, shut up. And then the kid turns around and says, what did you say to me? And then he just yells, shut the fuck up. I think this kid has something against James. I mean, I get it being upset that classmates were killed so brutally, but come on, dude. How do you think a kid managed to rip someone and spill their guts out and put them in a tree? I mean, you do realize what kind of strength that would require, yeah? Unless James is secretly a werewolf, I don't think he could have pulled that off. Now, if, they were killed by a blunt hit to the head, no, I can believe it more. Yes, James is at the principal's office. Principal's very young, too. I do wonder how young can you start working as a principal? Don't you need some experience before? I don't know. But, he sits with the principal, and, well, what should I do, James? James is like, should probably call my dad. And the principal says, do you want me to call your dad? And he says, no. Wait, sorry. Looks like the principal agrees that the kid's a prick, too, which is funny. He tells him, you should have just punched him in the face. Which I guess normally you wouldn't hear a principal say. And the principal's not having a fun time either in their little town of Archer's Peak. Some children already obviously been murdered, and there's a lot of children that went missing. And the police don't know where to start, and there's claims that it's a bear attack. Come on. There's no fucking bear. Yeah, he apologizes to James, for throwing his problems on top of his. They asked him, do you want me to send you home? And he said, no, they have movies in English class. So James goes off to watch a movie. Then we move back to the lady. She's on the bus, and she has arrived at Archer's Peak. She's sitting in the bus and looking at a squid ragdoll. And an old lady asks her, are you stopping here, dear? Or are you coming off? And she said, it's terrible what happened to all those children. And the lady's like, yeah, I wish someone would, sorry. Oh, throat. I wish someone would do something about this. He says, yeah, again, and she kind of goes off, and on this board, there's a posters of all the missing children. And then a cop approaches her, she walks away from it, asking, do you know anyone there? I think that she said sort of. Then we go back to James. He's in a parking lot of a hotel. Or a motel. No, a hotel. Listening to a message on his phone from his dad. Telling him that he's going to be at work. He's going to be detained at work longer. And he'll drop by the house to pick up some night clothes for him. And he has to tell the police and sheriff before, or else something. Tells him to lock the door twice and tells him he loves him. So James sits in the parking lot on, like a piece of, that piece of stone they have where you're supposed to park your car in front of. And he's looking at the woods, and then Our Lady approaches him and asks him to tell her what happened. Before that, he's asked, are you going to hurt me? And she says, probably not. I love that answer. Probably not. Not even saying no, just probably not. But there's a chance. So they sit, and she asks him, she has some questions for him. He asks her if she's from the police, which obviously she's not. And she tells him to tell me what you saw, James. And he obviously doesn't want to, but she tells him, just tell me what you saw. It doesn't matter what you say, I will believe you. So we go back to get a flashback of that night. Because James tells her he fell. His leg got cut up in a root. He talks about it during the investigation. And he fell into a hole, perhaps. And so he lost the other kids. I think maybe the dare was to go into this woods they have and to maybe look for the monster. And they all went. So you see James running between the trees, calling to his friends, where are you guys? And then he sees one of the kids. I think it's Noah. He sees Noah first. No, he doesn't have any legs. He's been torn and his body's still, crawling forward. And at first, James probably doesn't realize it. He goes to him and he's like, help me, James. I can't feel my legs. And I'm like, yeah, because you don't have any legs anymore. And he cries, take me with you. That's what James notices, but it's too late. Noah dies. And he keeps running and comes across another one of the boys. And then he tries to go to him, but he slips on some blood and falls backwards. And then he sees the third boy crawling forward, or at least that's how it looks like. And he's looking at him, and he's trying also to ask him to help him. But it's too late. The monster who... Man, it looks like some type of monster I've seen before, but I can't remember where. Like, the shape of it reminds a lot of it. But yeah, I can't put my finger on which franchise. Maybe Dead Space? I don't know, somewhere I've seen something that kind of looks like that. It could be a combination of a lot of monsters I've seen in the past. But it's a worm-like thing. It has a lot of eyes that are just slits. And it has these, maybe like spider legs almost, that he And it grabs the kid and it just rips him in half. And yells out, well, makes a sound. Yeah, and poor James is sitting there like looking at it. Holy shit. Poor child. I guess this thing just didn't notice him. It was a bit further away, but I don't know if it just what it relies on. Maybe it relies on sound to find the victims. Anyway, James obviously survived that night. And then that's it. We go back to them sitting there. And this lady tells him, thank you for telling me. And then she pulls out her cell phone. Oh, before that, there's a part where she moves her hair a bit. And she has this little yellow not triangle. This yellow diamond shape on her, right, like on the side of her forehead. And it has a line. I don't know if it's a tattoo or some kind of chip. But it's definitely something. Which I'm not sure what it's used for. And she pulls out her cell phone and she calls, I guess, St. George. And tells them what kind of monster this is. She says East something 7. And she says she'll take care of it. And she hangs up. And the kid's like, what do you mean you'll take care of it? And he says, well, you have a monster there, and I'm here to kill it. And she pulls out a knife. And James looks down for a moment and says, can I help you? And that's it. That's where it ends. So this was pretty good overall. I guess it's not, at least in the first issue, doesn't seem like a particularly new idea. All these types of organizations fighting monsters are not new. It's not a new concept. So, I guess it'd be interesting to see what they did with it further on. If it's what, what I assume it is, or if there's more to it. And I do wonder if this lady is perhaps enhanced somehow. Because as you can see, she's not that bulky, but she kills these things and wields weapons. So I assume even with training, she needs some extra, an extra kick to her. So maybe she's not fully human, or she has enhanced abilities or something. She has a very interesting eye color. And there's that diamond thing on her forehead, so perhaps that has something to do with it. But yeah. Overall, it was pretty good. It's one of those where you have to continue more further to understand better what happens. Not too clear from the start. But yeah, it looks like she's in this organization and she travels around and kills these monsters. But I do wonder if the series revolves around what? A race of monsters that simply kills children? Or is it just in Wisconsin? Because it looks like it isn't. Because of that little girl. I think perhaps maybe she came across one of these things. Yeah, she did, right. Because she says there's more of them. So I wonder if this whole thing just focuses solely on that. As you can see as from the title, something is killing the children. So yeah, I think perhaps this is a race a race of monsters that are solely out for the kiddies. Could be. Have to read forward on to find out. But yeah, not a bad one. Not a bad first issue. Alright, let's get to the art. Oh, there we go. You can see the creature there. See? Fuck ugly, that one. Not bad. I don't know if you have to say it's a creative looking monster. Man, I feel like I've seen one like this before, so I can't really say. So there we go. It's a big chainsaw, by the way. I'll show you some of the art. Obviously, not too many pages. This is a few years old, but I don't want to risk it. I do like this art style, I must say, though. It's quite nice. There we go. These are the boys. That's Noah. He looks a lot like Richie from It, I have to say. And mainly like the actor they chose for the newer movies. It looks so much like him. I was tempted to say Richie, careful. For some reason here they have all those who did the covers. Kind of wish they put the, writer and all that here. Alright, and then that's it. That's all I can show you. Yeah, pretty nice art. I like the style. Check out his angry glance. Like, okay then, Noah, truth or dare? And that ended up really badly for all of them. Yeah, they're even wearing the same outfit, so they went straight after this. Oh yeah, this one kid had glasses on. Oh, he obviously lost them as he was running away. I don't know who died first. They were all, ripped to shreds. Yeah, so that's the art style. It's a pretty nice cover. That one. It looks pretty cool here. So yeah, that is something, killing the children. I wonder how it continued, because I looked it up, and man, all the first prints are fucking ridiculous expensive. So I guess this was really popular when it came out. Because, no one really talked about what the story is about. Everyone just saw, look at this cover, and... Well, Simon also has a slab of it, of certain printing. So I wonder, is it because it was so great, or because there was so little of the first printing? I do wonder. Now, I did find this interesting, but, not interesting, I must pick up the trade and read it soon. More like, interesting, I'll get to it at some point. So yeah, I'll, maybe, well, not in the near future, but maybe later on down the line, I'll pick up the trade and see if if it continues to be any good. So yeah, that is it. Alright, folks, so let me know if you read Something is Killing the Children. What did you think about it? Is it any good? Did you enjoy it? Does it improve? Actually, wait, don't tell me. I want to find out for myself. Alright, so that is it, folks. Now remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. And don't play Truth or Dare in the forest. You might get fucked. Bye!